Prosper Mérimée, Carmen by Prosper Mérimée. Delve into the captivating world of Prosper Mérimée's Carmen, a tale set in 1830s Andalusia, as the narrator embarks on historical and geographical research across Spain. Along the way, he encounters the dangerous yet captivating Carmen, a beguiling gypsy who entices him into her web of deceit and intrigue. Throughout the book, watch as Carmen's story intertwines with that of José, a military man seduced by Carmen's charm, ultimately leading him to pursue a life of crime. The narrative explores themes of love, deception, fate, and morality with Carmen's complex character as its heart. Expect an engaging and vivid historical tale as you journey through Andalusian society and witnesses the rise and fall of its various characters.
Encounter with a wanted man. In Andalusia in 1830, a narrator and his guide meet a strong, savage-looking man who is suspected to be a smuggler or brigand. After sharing a meal, the travelers and the man arrive at a decrepit inn, where the innkeeper greets him as Don José, the wanted highwayman. In this book excerpt, we follow the narrator on his journey through Spain, accompanied by his guide Antonio. While on their mission to carry out historical and geographical research, they encounter a man sleeping by a refreshing stream. The man's initial savage appearance quickly transforms as he enjoys a cigar and a shared meal with the travelers. However, the narrator's suspicion gradually mounts that the stranger might be a smuggler or even the notorious highwayman José. The travelers ultimately arrive at the Venta del Cuervo Inn, which turns out to be a shabby establishment with a welcoming innkeeper who greets their companion as Don José. This summary showcases the narrator's inner dialogue and speculations about the stranger's true identity. The author vividly portrays the scenery and the characters' interactions, creating a tense atmosphere that builds up to the revelation of the man's identity. This brief encounter with the wanted man challenges the narrator's assumptions and highlights the unpredictability of human nature. A mysterious maneuver. The narrator persuades Don José to play the mandolin, which leaves him feeling gloomy. Antonio asks to speak privately with the narrator near the stable, but Don José follows them and suspects foul play. The narrator refuses Antonio's request, and Don José returns alone, claiming that Antonio plans to spend the night with the horse to make it sweat. Saving Antonio. In this snippet, the narrator leaves his house due to the overwhelming presence of bugs and ends up meeting a guide who reveals that he saw the notorious bandit, Antonio, heading towards the military post. However, he also warns that Navarro, on whose head a bounty of 200 ducats is placed, might come with lancers before daybreak. Despite the guide's warning, the narrator decides to go back and warn Antonio, a new friend he recently made. While he's still grappling with the ethical dilemma of betraying Navarro to save Antonio, horsemen show up. Asserting that Navarro has fled, the narrator saves Antonio. In this passage, we see an inner conflict within the narrator as he questions his morality. The story also highlights the importance of standing up for what is right and extends the overarching message that sometimes our conscience pushes us to choose the path less taken. Encounter with danger. In Encounter with Danger, the narrator visits a convent in Córdoba in search of a manuscript. At the river bank, he meets Carmen, a captivating and beautiful gypsy woman who he invites for ice cream. Carmen's dwelling is visited by Don José, who violently shoves her away when he recognizes the narrator. Carmen becomes agitated and suggests that the narrator should have his throat cut. Later, the narrator realizes that his watch, which Carmen had been fascinated with, is missing. Convent Visit. While traveling in Andalusia, the narrator stops in Córdoba to visit a convent where the monks thought he was dead due to a stolen watch belonging to him found at the scene of the robbery. He learns the thief, a nobleman named Don José, has been caught and is due to be garroted. The narrator visits Don José in prison and brings him cigars. Don José asks the narrator to have a mass said for his soul after his death and begins to open up to him, telling him his life story. The Tale of Don José and Carmen. Don José Lizarrabengoa was initially intended to become a priest, but instead became addicted to playing real tennis. After a violent altercation, he joined the Almanza Cavalry Regiment and eventually found himself guarding a tobacco factory where exclusively female workers, including Carmen, worked. Despite being repelled and fascinated by Carmen's provocativeness, Don José is drawn to her. When Carmen gets into trouble and Don José arrests her, she tries everything to convince him to let her go, eventually lying in his native Basque tongue. Don José is dazed and angered, allowing Carmen to escape, resulting in his demotion and imprisonment. A Gypsy's Love. Don José, a potential officer in his prime before the incident, finds himself in a cell, cursing his foolish love for Carmen. Despite being gifted an Alcala role to escape, he didn't, due to his military code. He's released from prison as a private, humiliated with sentry duty at his colonel's home where Carmen performs. José is hopelessly in love with her, but she flirts with the guests, leaving him in agony. She whispers a message to him, and he believes they will be together, but he knows things won't end well. The tragic love story of José and Carmen. José falls deeply in love with the seductive gypsy, Carmen, but their passionate romance ultimately leads to his downfall. As soon as José finishes his duty, he rushes to meet Carmen, a gypsy he has fallen in love with. They go for a walk and Carmen buys luxurious food, indicating they will have a feast later. After returning to her room, they celebrate together. However, when José tries to leave in time for roll call, Carmen persuades him to stay the night. The next morning, Carmen pressures José to leave quickly, warning him that they cannot be together. Despite Carmen's fondness for him, she claims that their future is non-existent and that she would be the cause of his ruin. Their chance encounter at the city walls proves tragic as Carmen convinces José to let her smuggling gang pass through the checkpoint, tempting him with another night together. Carmen does not keep her promise and declares that she no longer cares for him. José is infuriated, and the two separate again for a while. José and Carmen reunite for another night of passion, but Carmen soon begins ignoring him again. When José sees Carmen entering a building with a lieutenant from his regiment, he confronts them and ends up stabbing the lieutenant in a scuffle. José manages to escape with Carmen, who helps him hide and recover while providing him with civilian clothes. Carmen's seduction and allure ultimately lead to José's downfall, and their tragic romance ends in heartbreak. The life of a smuggler. José turns to smuggling after following Carmen's advice where he discovers a new life, but his love for Carmen brings trouble when he finds out she's married. With the threat of arrest and execution looming, José takes Carmen's advice to become a smuggler. The former soldier secretly aspires to a romantic and adventurous life with the woman he loves. The couple meets frequently while José enjoys his new profession. However, Carmen warns him not to mention their relationship to anyone. Their happy existence is threatened when Carmen's abusive husband, Garcia, joins the gang. During a smuggling operation, Garcia murders a fellow smuggler, warning everyone to never betray the group. Carmen cleverly plans another smuggling opportunity in Gibraltar, resulting in great loot from two wealthy Englishmen. However, things take a turn for the worse when communication from Carmen suddenly stops. The gang sends José to find her, and after wandering the streets aimlessly, Carmen calls out from a window, dressed in fine clothes and playing the role of a mistress to an Englishman. José is furious but Carmen assures him that it's just a way to extract the man's wealth. With the situation spiraling out of control, José has to choose, between his love for Carmen and the danger she brings to the gang, or his loyalty to his comrades. This gripping tale of love, adventure and danger portrays the life of a smuggler and the sacrifices one must make to be part of it. Deadly jealousy. Carmen, a free-spirited gypsy, convinces José to kill her English husband. José, driven by his Navarrese honor, refuses to harm the innocent man. However, he later kills another man in a fight. Carmen soon grows tired of José's constant jealousy and begins to see a bullfighter named Lucas in secret. In a fit of jealousy, José forces Carmen to choose between a new life with him or death. When Carmen admits that she doesn't love him anymore, José kills her in a fit of rage. He then turns himself into the guards and has a mass said for her soul. Through this tale, the inevitability of fate is explored.
In the end, Prosper Mérimée's Carmen reminds us of the dangerous allure of love and the complexities surrounding human relationships. The tale paints a vivid picture of the time and place through the eyes of its diverse characters, particularly Carmen herself, whose machinations lead to her own demise. The relationships between the characters ultimately prove to be a testing ground for the boundaries between loyalty, jealousy, passion, and revenge. Carmen's enigmatic and capricious nature dramatizes the struggles of love and morality in a story that leaves readers reflecting on the harsh consequences of obsession and the importance of free will.